Hey, hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
We are here to talk about our group read pick for November, which is Furiously Happy in the Fall into Winter Readathon. Sorry. Okay, so let me pull my questions up. Okay, full disclosure, I did not finish this book, so our discussion is probably going to be very short. I only have 3 questions, but we can always add in more if anybody has any or anything like that. So, my first question, of course, is just a general, how did you like it? And if you rate memoir type books, what did you rate it?
I guess I can go first because I also didn't finish the book. I wasn't disliking, I didn't actively hate it. I just wasn't really getting the humor. Like, I have always felt like my humor is a little bit broken. So every serious moment, I was like, oh, I really like this. And then it'd switch rapidly into the humor, and I'd just be like, what? What do you say? And then I would kind of zone out a little bit because I was listening to it at work and I had to keep pausing it. I wasn't fully absorbing all the humor, so I DNF'd at like 30%. So I also did not rate it.
Well, I liked it. I actually ended up giving it 5 stars.
Yeah.
But I definitely think this is one of those books where like you have to like her humor, or you have to like be able to follow her train of thought because she like bounces around so much, and then you have to like agree with her humor in order to really like enjoy it. Otherwise, because like I totally can understand how people would not like this. Like I was explaining it to Josh, and he was just like, "This sounds like a time." And I was like, yeah, it is. It definitely is. But I mean, I'm liking it. Yeah, so I mean, I had a good time with it. I laughed a bunch. I teared up a bunch. I think her relationship with her husband sounds like a very interesting relationship.
Yeah.
Like the more she talked about it, the more she was like, we are just such opposites. And it's like it must work really well for them. Like she has to lighten his days every time, and he must like bring her down to earth or something. But I thought that part was like anytime he was brought up, I was just like enamored to learn more.
Yes, and so like I said, I did not finish it either, so I didn't care for it. I think I got a little bit further than Paige only because I'm hosting the discussion and I felt like I really needed to finish it, but I just couldn't. I had to take a break for Thanksgiving because we had 2 on Thursday and Friday. So by the time Saturday came around, I'm like, no. So even if I did finish it, I don't rate memoirs anyway. So I didn't like it, but and you guys actually touched on my 2 other questions that I have, which is all about your reading experience. So first, how did you feel about the humor, which we kind of already discussed, but if you have anything else to add, because I did not, sorry, I'm just continuing on, but I did not find it funny at all. But most books who are trying to be funny are never funny to me.
Yeah.
And there was only one time that I even kind of chuckled, but it wasn't about what she said. It reminded me of something else that made me laugh. Like when her friend was doing a rant or something, she kept calling her Amanda, even though her name is Jenny. And my mind went straight to Olaf in the Woods talking to Samantha. So
Wow.
That's the only part that made me laugh.
That's funny.
So it did not help my reading experience. I don't think it hurt it because I can read a book and it not be funny and it be fun, but it definitely didn't help.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was funny. I just had a hard time. I think it was really just where I was reading it because I had the Kindle up, but I would get an email or something from work and I'd have to stop looking at that, only listen to the audiobook. So I was like jumping formats a little bit. So I wasn't able to follow like the train of thought that Nat was mentioning. So it just feels so random what she was talking about. And I didn't see the thread of like those serious moments that she was connecting it to because I was a little distracted. So I think if I really got the chance to sit down and like understand where all the chaos was like linking to, I would have got it, but it just sounded like crazy stories and then it would be like a more somber tone being read on something serious and then another crazy story that I was like, how are these connecting? And I felt like the chapters were jumping their like the way that they were written too, where there was the one chapter that was written in like almost like a dialogue or like a play script that threw me off too. And so those were just, it was hard to focus on it at work. So I don't recommend doing that at work. I think I would have followed much better at home.
Yeah, so like jumping off that, I listened to probably majority of the book in a single day, like while I was doing chores and stuff. And so like, I definitely think that helped me staying on top of it. And again, like you were saying, she jumps around so much. So like, if you're not following the thread, then it's just like, what are you talking about? How did we get here?
Yeah.
But I don't remember. I think she said at some point that she is like on the ADHD spectrum in some case. And like, for me, if she's not, I wouldn't be surprised if she was, because of how her writing style was. Because like both my brother and my dad have like ADHD, and my brother has type 3, which is like the most intense version you can have. So there would be times throughout the book where it felt like I was just having a really long conversation with him, where we would be talking about like A, but then, you know, you'll get reminded of B, and then you get reminded of C, and then you kind of round your way back to A, and then D happens, and like it just jumped around like that. So I think because I'm very used to people like that in my life, like, and telling stories in such a way, it didn't bug me as much because I've like had a lot of experience with it. But again, I also think like her humor is so not niche, but like kind of niche in that it's like dark, but at the same time there's like humor in the chaos of her brain bouncing all around, and then it's like she's like very ridiculous and aware of it and kind of like plays on that. So I think I've gone back and forth about recommending this book to people so far already, because like some of the serious topics, I know people who I think would like really enjoy it and connect with that, but I have no idea if they would like the humor. And I could see them like, being so aggravated by it that it's like, I don't really want to recommend it to them. And then them come back and be like, what was this? Like, why did you think I would enjoy this? But yeah, I mean, again, overall, I still liked it, but I 100% understand why other people would not.
And I did like the message overall of just like choosing to be happy when you can, like when you have even just like a spark of it. Like I really liked those messages. It was just kind of lost to me.
Yeah, they're like
random stories.
Yeah, you have to like work through all the stories to like get to the like final point.
Yeah.
And then like some of the points connect, but then some of them are just like so random. And like you were saying, her writing style shifts a lot too. So yeah, I guess that is kind of true. It adds into like the chaos of her style.
All right. Well, I suck as a host because my next question was, how do you feel about the randomness?
I'm sorry. I'm ruining all your questions.
Oh, but I agree. Like I didn't follow the train, and I do like the message, like Paige said. It's just, you know, you have this whole chapter of these random stories and maybe like one sentence of something serious and thoughtful, which I'm not a big fan of, but you know, other people maybe like Nat. Nat loved it.
Is this book like, I don't know, and I'm actually going to look it up on Goodreads. Is it like marketed as a memoir or as like?
I have no idea. I just assumed since it was stories.
Yeah, like I would too, but now that I'm thinking about it, like I don't know. I'm curious. Sorry, that was like a little squirrel moment.
I have no idea. I don't know what else it would be.
Humor and memoir. So
like, I don't know what else it would be classified as.
Yeah.
So, well, I literally have no other thoughts or words. And I'm so sorry.
So we're agreeing that it's a very niche book.
Yes.
You have to be open to ridiculous humor and chaos and some serious moments.
I do have another. I forgot there was another question. Do you think that it would make a good movie?
Ooh.
I didn't make it far enough. I don't
know about a movie, but I could see this being like a great mini series sort of thing, especially if it was like almost, you know how like Lizzie McGuire was, where it would be like her normal thought processes, or like her normal day, but then like her thought process would be like animated. I could 100% see this being like a mini series in that format, where it'd be like her main point is like the regular, you know, reality based, and then whenever she has like a side tangent, it becomes animated. Like
and it's taxidermy.
Yes, like taxidermy claymation.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would be perfect.
That would be great. I agree. 100%.
Yeah, that would be funny. I think that would be more fun to experience it that way.
Yeah, like I think it would be more obvious about like the shifts.
Yeah, and you'd just be like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Stop watching.
Yes. Yep. That would definitely be easier to handle and more entertaining, I think.
Yeah.
I read her first book, Let's Pretend This Never Happened, and like it definitely had a similar writing style, but it's also been a minute since I read it, and I'm kind of wondering, like, was it just as like bouncing off the walls as this one was, or like does it become more so as her writing continues? Because she has a previous one, and then I think she has another one after this.
Okay.
That I'm probably gonna end up reading because I'm intrigued just to see like what other stories she manages to pull. She somehow, like, I don't know, it feels like she talks about all these like wild things, and it's like, how do you have anything else crazy to write about? Like, what else happens?
That much happened to you?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, and live a life and have a kid and a marriage.
Yeah. So like I think it was further in the book, so I don't think y'all would have gotten there, but there's one point where she was talking about like whenever she kind of feels uncomfortable about like sharing some of these stories, and she'll think about like what's going to happen when her daughter is in like high school, and maybe like some of her peers read these books and how they would view it. And it's like, I mean, I'm sure in high school she would probably hate it, but like as an adult, I bet she would like love it, especially if she has her like mom's sense of humor and like knows how her mom is. I bet she'd probably have like the time of her life reading those books and like talking to people about it. At least like I would if I was in her shoes.
She's got to have a sense of humor growing up in that house.
Yeah. Well, I want to know how crazy her real life is, because there was at one point where she was saying that she actually does hold back specifically so her daughter is not bullied and whatnot later in school. So I'm like, if these are tame, what actually happened?
Yeah, it was the more like outrageous one. That's a good point.
Yeah. So, you guys have any other random things you want to add? I don't think we've officially scheduled our next one, but it's usually the last Sunday of the month. So
that might be tricky with New Year's.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And the book is There Is Also a Dog.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Good job. Calm the book.
What was that?
Is it like on Kindle Unlimited or something? Because it's only like 60 pages, at least according to Storygraph.
Wonderful.
That is great.
I'm excited about that.
I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
Yeah, I haven't either. Okay, well, I'll have to like search that out and advertise that. But yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies. I'm sorry I'm a terrible host and didn't even finish the book.
No, you were wonderful.
You're so okay. I feel bad that my choice was the one that like got DNF'd.
No. It was something different. Something we wouldn't have picked for ourselves.
Yes.
That's
the beauty of group reads and book clubs.
True.
Because you never know what you're going to love.
Yep.
All right. Well, if we don't have anything else to say, I'll let you guys get back to your lazy Sundays.
Perfect.
And thank you all for, if you're here or if you're here later, we appreciate you, and let us know in the comments if you have any other thoughts for us later. Bye.